I am very well. It's very important, but I have to regret today a new attack to Kiev with 2 children killed. It's another proof that Russia continues attacking civilian population in Ukraine. I hope that the presence of so many leaders here very close to Ukraine at some kilometers of the border will send a strong message about the unity of many states, not only European Union, but others, on defending international order, on defending the right of the people, defending sovereignty of the countries. It's important that this message reaches Russia. Russia is not here not because we don't want to invite Russia, but because Putin's Russia has excluded of this community by launching this attack, this war, unjustified, against Ukraine. So we have to work on 3 words. First, connecting better the people of this political community. Second, stabilizing our continent. We have a lot of problems in the Balkans. And third, secure. Stability, connectivity, and security. These are the 3 words, key words of this meeting from the point of view of building a common foreign policy for the European Union.
Isn't it time to give them all an accession perspective now? Some of them real.
But accession perspective is there. It's already there. And yesterday it was a vibrant concert where everybody heard the symphony, the European Union anthem. I think the European will of these people and this government is clear, and the European path is clear also. Moldova is a candidate, something that some months ago looked impossible. Now it's a candidate. Now they have to work to make the reforms, and the way is over.
Do you expect any progress between Kosovo and Serbia or between Armenia and Azerbaijan?
Kosovo and Serbia.
Look, yes, I expect to have a meeting with President Vučić. Yesterday I met Prime Minister Kurti.
So we have to insist that the violence is not the way. The violence has to be condemned, and the perpetrators of this violence has to be accountable. And everybody has to try to avoid any kind of escalation and uncoordinated moves. So we will continue working with President Vučić. Kosovo, I was with him yesterday. It's impossible.
The relations of Azerbaijan and Armenia. Mr. Borrell, so is Transnistria a problem for EU integration for the Republic of Moldova?
I already answered this question. Moldova path is independently of what's happening with the Transnistria. Cyprus become member of the European Union having a territorial problem. Moldova can do it. Come on.
¿Le preocupa que la adelante electoral en España perjudique la presidencia española de la Unión Europea, señor Borrell?
Creo que la campaña electoral se puede desarrollar sin perjuicio de la presidencia. Macron tuvo elecciones presidenciales en la República Francesa durante la presidencia francesa, ¿no? Nada extraordinario ni nuevo.
Ukraine is under attack, a heavy attack just as we speak. Do you fear that, considering Mr. Zelensky's presence here, do you fear and do you think that Ukraine will intensify its attacks in the coming days?
Look, Ukraine has the full right to defend itself, the coming days and always. Here, doesn't matter. Zelensky being here doesn't prevent Ukraine from defending. Well, thank you.
Mr. Hayram, your main message to Georgian people regarding candidate status. Georgian Prime Minister is also here and will participate in this discussion today.
Georgia has a clear European perspective. Georgia has a clear European perspective. So the only thing that has to do is to continue working on the reform and to build political stability. But the European perspective of Georgia from the European side is clear. Now it's up to Georgia to continue working. Thank you.
Is the EU investing investigating whether the Russian statements that Ukraine was involved in those attacks are actually true. Are you looking into it at all?
Thank you.
President of the European Parliament, the President of the European Council, the President of the European Commission. The key issues will be how to be more connected in terms of securing better communication between people, better telecommunication, better infrastructure, energy security, energy infrastructure, and this will be the key topics, as well as the political integration of the regions, especially the Western Balkans, from where I'm coming, North Macedonia, to speed up the process of European integration. So I am expecting a successful meeting. We as a country have to say positive things, which we managed to do in the past period, which we will share with our partners. And at the end of the day, I am sure that there will be very positive conclusions. I will also have bilateral meetings with the Prime Minister of Moldova, Prime Minister of Denmark, and the President of the European Parliament. So thank you, and I wish you as well a good day.
Quick question, do you see that this is, first of all, exactly Kosovo, are you concerned about that situation?
We have a very clear standpoint that all the disputes have to be resolved in a diplomatic way. Because the peace in Kosovo is also a peace for the Western Balkans. I think that the time of conflicts is far behind us. So the implementation of the already agreed agreements between Kosovo and Serbia, as well as the annex to the implementation plan, should be imperative for the politicians from the both countries. We call for de-escalation and for continuation of communication with the help of the European Union and the United States of America between the two countries. Thank you. Absolutely, this is our strategic goal, and this is what we are working for, aiming for. We have done many hard decisions as a country, and we are ready to take the next step and to continue the negotiations with the European Union, and by 2030 to become full-fledged member of the European Union. You know, North Macedonia has proven that through diplomacy, through making tough decisions, success can be made from a country which practically got its independence 32 years ago. Today we are a member of NATO, we are negotiating with the European Union, we are chairing OSCE, and we are really a factor of stability on the Western Balkans. Thank you. North Macedonia 2030 is our goal. We have started the screening process. It will finish in several months. We have certain decisions, political ones, that we have to make in our country, and after that to proceed with opening of the chapters and clusters and with the necessary reforms in order to accomplish our goal. We opened the negotiations last year on the 19th of July. The screening process is ongoing, so part of the chapters are already finished with the screening. We will finish by November the rest of the screening phases. The reports will come, and then comes the opening of the chapters. Yes.
Are you a little bit afraid that this summit here is a little bit like a waiting room and not really helps the accession?
Absolutely not. I do not see this summit as a replacement for anything. But on the contrary, I think that this summit was very much needed also in the past. This summit as an idea is coming, let's say, a century ago. And I think that last year when we had the summit in Prague, it proved that when we work together, the countries from the European Union and the countries which are candidates or are not part of the European Union, that together we are stronger. And then in the case of my country, after that meeting, we started working very closely with the energy community of the European Union, with the transport community. And through this joint cooperation, we managed to do all the necessary things in order to go through the very harsh winter which we have because of the invasion of Russia on Ukraine, and to ensure everything for our citizens. So these meetings actually brings us together and makes political decisions easier in order to help all our citizens. Thank you. Wish you all the best all day.
Which has been the guarantor of our freedom, independence, and non-sovereignty throughout these 2 decades. For that reason, I will continue.
Guten Morgen.
Better.
Ja, meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren, das heutige Zusammenkommen ist ein ganz wichtiges Zeichen. Auf der einen Seite, dass wir klar zusammenstehen in der Frage des Krieges gegen die Ukraine, dass wir Moldau den Rücken stärken. Moldau hat eine unglaubliche Last zu tragen, auch in der Frage der Unterbringung von vielen Vertriebenen, macht das bravourös, ist ständig auch unter der Bedrohung von Seiten der Russischen Föderation. Immerhin ist auch ein Teil des Landes nach wie vor von der russischen Armee besetzt. Das heißt, Moldau hat hier viele Herausforderungen zu stemmen und gerade in so einer Zeit ist es wichtig, die Unterstützung auch durch solche Veranstaltungen wie jetzt, auch gerade mit der europäischen politischen Gemeinschaft, hier klar zu zeigen. Und zum anderen ist es uns auch wichtig, als Österreich auch immer wieder darauf hinzuweisen, dass wir den Westbalkan nicht vergessen dürfen, dass wir die Westbalkanstaaten brauchen, dass wir die Initiative jetzt der EU-Kommissionspräsidentin von der Leyen sehr begrüßen, dass es für den Westbalkan ein gesondertes Programm gibt, gerade auch um die Wirtschaft zu stärken und gleichzeitig natürlich auch die Rechtsstaatlichkeit. Wir haben uns immer dafür ausgesprochen, dass wenn man mit der Ukraine, aber auch mit Moldau den Kandidatenstatus vereinbart, dann ist es gleichzeitig aber auch wichtig zu sagen, dass der Westbalkan in die gleiche Lage versetzt wird, dass es kein besonderes Fast-Track-System für die Ukraine gibt, sondern gemeinsam, dass man darauf achtet, dass der Westbalkan gerade jetzt auch in dieser Zeit nicht vergessen wird. Wir sehen gerade im Kosovo, wie wichtig es ist, dass die Europäische Union an der Seite der Westbalkanstaaten steht.
Herr Bundeskanzler, Sie haben heute viele bilaterale Treffen, unter anderem auch mit dem serbischen Präsidenten. Was werden Sie ihm zum Beispiel hinsichtlich des Kosovo sagen und was haben Sie auch geplant, in den anderen bilateralen Gesprächen anzusprechen?
Wir treffen auch den Präsidenten von Bulgarien. Es ist jetzt ein Treffen geplant mit dem Ministerpräsidenten von Portugal. Es geht um eine Vielfalt an Themen. Portugal ist hohe Kompetenz betreffend Afrika und auch da, wie man die Zusammenarbeit stärken kann, auch im Sinne unserer Afrika-Strategie und den wichtigen Reisen, Migration auf der einen Seite als Themen, aber auch grüner Wasserstoff. Und auf der anderen Seite bei den Westbalkanstaaten, Sie haben Serbien angesprochen, Serbien ist ein ganz wichtiges Land am Westbalkan, hat einen großen Einfluss, hat grundsätzlich auch eine große Rolle, wenn es darum geht, Konflikte auch zu deeskalieren. Es braucht aber immer 2, es braucht auch den Kosovo. Es waren die Vorgehensweisen jetzt in der Behördenfrage von Seiten des Kosovo nicht dazu angetan, zu deeskalieren. Es ist jetzt wichtig, dass sofort die Gewalt aufhört. Die ist niemals akzeptabel auf der einen Seite, aber auch, dass Schritte gesetzt werden, die eben diese Eskalation erst gar nicht ermöglicht.
Einige Staaten werden heute auch über das Thema Energie sprechen wollen, auch das steht auf der Agenda. Ich frage deshalb, weil gestern der ehemalige OMV-Chef Royce in der T2 gesagt hat, dass Österreich ab kommenden Jahr kein Gas mehr aus Russland bekommen wird, weil die Transitverträge in der Ukraine mit Russland nicht verlängert werden. Wissen Sie davon und bereitet man sich auf diesen Ernstfall vor?
Also zum einen, wir bereiten uns ständig auf den Ernstfall vor, deswegen sind unsere Speicher jetzt schon zu 75% gefüllt. Und wir sind gerade in vielen Gesprächen auch, wo eben neue Gasquantitäten verfügbar sind, sollte russisches Gas vollständig ausfallen. Die OMV stellt sich darauf schon ein. Jetzt gilt es da auf der einen Seite die Nerven zu bewahren, genau hinzuschauen, was tatsächlich an Entwicklungen stattfindet und gleichzeitig die Unabhängigkeit weiter voranzutreiben. Da sind wir auf einem guten Weg.
Werden Sie mit Präsident Zelensky über diese Transitverträge heute sprechen?
Das ist nicht das primäre Thema. Heute geht es um den Krieg in der Ukraine. Aber es ist immer eine Frage der Energieversorgungssicherheit, die für Österreich an oberster Stelle steht. Daher ist es immer ein Thema, das mitgenommen wird. Danke.
Morning. I'm heading for the Swedish one.
Thank you so much. See you later. Thank you. Good morning.
President Vucic for Reuters. A couple of questions over here.
Good morning, Mr. Vucic.
Just a bit later.
What are you going to do about the situation in Kosovo?
We'll do our best to de-escalate the situation.
And how?
Така да ви благодарам на прашањата, што имате уште прашања. Тука се сега пожешките теми. Да.
Шолцом и Макроном, да ли će se nešto promeniti u retorici prema Prištini u svetlu dešavanja poslednjih dana na Kosovu i Metohiji?
Svakako ne laki sastanci i važno je da pokušamo da sačuvamo mir, stabilnost i razgovarao sam jutros sa našim ljudima sa severa Kosova. Molio ih da u svojoj odlučnosti da istraju u borbi za pravo i pravdu. To čine uvek pre svega u odnosu prema foru na miran način, kao što su činili i juče i prekjuče i
attacking other countries who didn't follow him, attacking Ukraine, attacking Greece and other countries who decided not to reject Kosovo's cause for more human rights, which is what the Council of Europe is all about.
You're going to meet with a German What do you expect?
well as international instruments which we have directly made applicable to our Constitution. We are committed. While we move ahead in this direction, Kosovo's functionality as a country is protected, as well as the constitutionality of our actions.
Hello everyone. Lovely day, isn't it?
It's too lovely.
Warm. Not another day for a woolcraft suit, so hopefully you guys can dress down with it. So I just kick off about the event. Yeah, but just very happy to be here to represent Ireland at the European Political Community meeting. It's a relatively new formation, only the second meeting that we've had, and what it brings together is the countries of the European Union, also with countries that are associated with the European Union, like Switzerland and Norway, for example, and then other countries like the UK. Turkey sometimes attends, not present on this occasion because of their recent elections. As an opportunity to talk about issues that affect the continent as a whole. So a lot of security issues will arise here. Of course, the war in Ukraine is going to be top of mind, but also it's an opportunity to express solidarity with Moldova, a country that's also under pressure from Russia, and a country that Ireland has taken a particular interest in down the years, supporting them politically in their candidature for the EU, but also financially and to help build up their institutions. In addition to that, the situation in Kosovo will be a matter that people will be talking about, and also the situation between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Mainly the meetings I'll be attending relate to energy and how we can push ahead our agenda to decarbonise our electricity and energy systems, which is to the benefit of Europe, both economically but also in terms of political stability and also environmentally as well. And also a chance to have some side meetings and discussions with counterparts, like for example Prime Minister Sunak and others who I'd hope to have a chat with during the day.
Taoiseach, the issue of critical infrastructure is topical at the moment, and given the vulnerability of undersea cables, in particular from an Irish point of view. I mean, there are some initiatives through PESCO on trying to beef up critical infrastructure protection. Is that something Ireland could and should be exploring?
Yeah, it's something we're interested in. We haven't at this stage decided to join any NATO Partnership for Peace programme on this or any PESCO programme on it, but we will certainly consider that. We'll give it deep consideration because we are an island nation. Our seas are 7 times greater than our land area, and going through those seas are a lot of really important infrastructure, communications cables that connect Ireland to the world and Europe to North America, and also, for example, our gas interconnector with the UK and our electricity interconnectors with both the UK and the new one with France. So I don't think we can protect these on our own. And therefore it makes sense for us to cooperate with our neighbours and allies, both in the European Union and in NATO, to make sure that those cables are secure no matter what happens. But we have to know the detail of any European-led cooperation on that or any NATO-led cooperation on that before we can make a decision on whether or not to participate.
What would that concretely look like, cooperation? Would it look like boats, repair
structures
from other countries? What would it look like?
Well, I suppose that's the point. We don't actually really know yet. There's many aspects to this. One is making sure that when cables and pipelines are designed and when they're replaced, that they're more secure than maybe they were in the past, and design is part of it. Another part of it is monitoring, making sure that we're able to keep an eye on vessels that pass through our economic zone, and then another aspect to it is what would you do if there was information about a potential interference, and how would we act. So we just can't sign up to anything until we know what it actually is. But the basic principle is that this is really important for Ireland because we're an island, because so much of its infrastructure goes through our island or around our island, and as a small country, 5 million people, no matter how much we spent on our defence forces or our navy, we wouldn't be able to do this on our own. So we do need to cooperate, and that means cooperating potentially with NATO allies through the Partnership for Peace, which we've been members of for over 20 years now, or through the European Union's PESCO arrangement, which is the European Union's structured cooperation on defence and security. So we're interested. It's a very real issue for us. It's not a theoretical one, but we have to know what we'll be signing up to before we can sign up to anything.
Have you received intelligence that Russia has been mapping or looking at or carrying out suspicious activity at or near undersea cables?
We don't do anything specific, but you'll understand I'm limited in what I can say on matters of national security.
I mean, would you think Ireland is at risk of the kind of hybrid destabilisation techniques that we hear about from Moldova?
I think things have changed. Traditionally, when we thought about security concerns, you would think about, one country invading another, and that's very real. That's happened in Europe. It's happening in Europe at the moment, where Russia has invaded Ukraine. I don't think that's the kind of threat that Ireland faces, but we live in a different world now, and threats are hybrid. Security threats are hybrid. We've already had a cyber attack on our health service, for example. We need to make sure that nobody's in a position to take down the IT systems around our critical infrastructure, like, for example, our electricity grid. And also there's the risk of international terrorism, which isn't new, but not something that we should make the mistake of thinking that Ireland is immune to. And then also threats, for example, such as industrial espionage and attacks on infrastructure in our seas. So none of these things are new, but I think it's fair to say that because of the instability in the world at the moment, the risk of us being victim of an attack or collateral damage in an attack is higher than it would have been 10 or 20 years ago, and we need to be realistic about that. I don't think we need to scare people or be over dramatic about it either, but to just kind of say that the risk is nothing and therefore we need to do nothing would be very irresponsible. We need to assess the risk and then see what we can do to make sure that we're safe.
Would Ireland support speedier accession of Moldova to the EU?
Yes, we've always supported Moldova as a candidate country for European Union membership. The same applies to the countries of the Western Balkans as well. We believe as a country that Europe has acted too slowly when it comes to enlargement in recent years. The enlargement into Central Eastern Europe happened under the Irish presidency a long time ago now. Hasn't been perfect, but it's broadly been a success. And I think that you can make countries wait too long. And if you make countries wait too long, well, then they may turn off the European path. So we're very much in favour of accession of Moldova, of the Western Balkan countries. But it is important that all the criteria are met, all the chapters are closed. We can't water down our standards as a European Union, but we have to say to countries that if they meet those standards, well, then they're in and they're welcome.
Do you think that Moldova will meet those acceptance?
Yeah, I can't put a timeline on it, because what it's all about is allowing countries to become candidate countries and then beginning the negotiations chapter by chapter to allow them to do so. And Ireland did that too. We're not founder members of the European Union. We joined in the 70s, but accession for us only took a couple of years. And I think that a lot of countries have been allowed to wait a very long time in the Western Balkans and also Moldova too, and we're very strong supporters of further enlargement.
And Moldova says they want to start accession talks by the end of the year. Is that something Ireland would support?
That's going to depend on the recommendations of the European Commission, but we're certainly open to that, and we hope that there'll be a positive recommendation from the Commission in that regard. We think Moldova's future is in the European Union. It's my first time to visit here. It's a really nice country from what I've seen so far, but a country I think that can benefit enormously from European membership. And bear in mind, this is a country that is relatively poor by European standards, a country with a lower population than Ireland, but has taken in more refugees in Ukraine than we have. And we need to bear in mind the level of solidarity that they've shown with their neighbours. And I'd like to see them become full members of the European Union as soon as that's possible. And it is a country that we work with closely, and a country that we've also made financial contributions to help them build up their institutions, and that will continue.
On domestic issues,
Sorry?
What UK State Secretary said that in certain circumstances it would be okay for Ukraine to attack certain territory as it's in Russia. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I didn't hear his comments on that. Look, I probably wouldn't be helpful for me to get into that space, but I fully support Ukraine's efforts to defend itself and to defend its own territory and territorial integrity.
Just on domestic issues, you said you're meeting on energy today. We saw gas prices reach a 2-year low last week. Why is it taking so long to feed through to consumers?
Yeah, the reason why that happens is because there isn't a direct link between wholesale prices and the retail prices that homeowners and businesses pay. So, at one point the wholesale gas price was 6 times or 10 times higher than it had been peak to trough, yet prices never went up 6 times or tenfold. So what happens is that when prices are going up in the wholesale markets, the full increase isn't passed on, and when prices go down, the full reduction isn't passed on. There's a time lag, but prices will come down. Electricity and gas prices will come down. But if there was an exact link, they would have gone up a lot more than they have, if that makes any sense.
And on the abortion laws, the woman who led the review said that the state is at risk of legal challenges unless there are amendments. Can you comment on that?
Well, look, the state's always at risk of legal challenges, no matter what our laws are on abortion. That's the nature of how democracy works. So, I think the risk is there whether we act or whether we don't. And even if we did act, I think there's also a risk. So, I think that's a statement of fact. What I would say is this. Back in 2017, on my first day as Taoiseach, I said that we should have a referendum on abortion, that people had a right to make a decision on whether we should change our abortion laws. That happened. We had a referendum, a very clear majority for change, and we made that happen. We brought in the legislation under Minister Harris and set up the service, so now it's available. And I've always said that this shouldn't be a party political issue. Shouldn't be about people scoring points or politicians scoring points. It's about women and about children and what's best for them. And everyone should be allowed to have their own opinion on this, and that opinion should be respected. What the government's intention was to allow the Health Committee of the Oireachtas to consider the O'Shea report, the independent review of the legislation, before looking at any particular legislative changes. The vote in the Dáil now changes that. It is now possible for the Health Committee to both look at Ms O'Shea's report and also at the same time consider legislative changes because Deputy Smith's bill has now passed second stage. So that's what will now happen. It's a big job of work, both for Deputy Smith and for the committee and the committee members to do, but that is how democracy works, and that is what parliamentarians are for. Is that it? All right, thanks a lot. I'll probably see you on the way out, will I? Yeah, okay.
Good morning. Well, very happy to be here in Moldova for the first time, but also the second time of the EPC. I think it's a very important platform for Europe as a continent during the time of conflict. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this will develop, not least for Iceland. We have, of course, preferred to stay outside of the EU, so we applaud to be here among other European nations at these very troubling times for our continent. So.
Why do we need a summit like this? There is the Council of Europe already. Why do we need the political community now?
The Council of Europe is obviously because we just had a summit of the Council of Europe in Iceland, where we were talking about the fundamental values of Europe, but here we are more talking about the politics of today. So I think this is a different forum, but also very important and more about the current affairs.
What do you think could be done that countries like Moldova don't have the same destiny as Ukraine?
Well, this summit is part of that, really, to show the solidarity within Europe and to really give a very clear message against the war and the invasion of Russia and Ukraine. This forum has actually developed because of that conflict, and I think it has shown really the strong solidarity of Europe against the invasion and with Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's take a check.
Okay, I'll see you later.
Vi kad smo već YouTube ga i evo možemo
Yes. Yes, of course.
It's warm here. It's much warmer than back home. I'm very glad to be here in Moldova. It's also a sign that we show to Moldova that Moldova is not alone. This European political community meeting regarding energy, security and connectivity, the roundtables we have last time, we had very open discussions around those roundtables. So I'm also hoping that this will be the case this time. So really looking forward to the discussions.
What signal does it send to Russia that basically the whole of Europe is here?
It sends a signal that multilateralism actually works, and also that we are behind Moldova, we are behind Ukraine, and as soon as Putin realizes, or Russia realizes they made a mistake with the war in Ukraine, the war will be over, because we will be behind Ukraine, behind Moldova, and we will be united. This is important. We are already sending strong signals by having discussions for Moldova and Ukraine, the EU accession. We should decide by the end of this year whether to start the negotiations or not, and Ukraine has to fulfill all the criteria that there is, and so we can move on with this. I think it is important that all the countries that want to be in certain associations, unions, have the right to decide in which they can, and of course the alliances or unions have to decide whether the conditions have been met. So I hope that everything goes smoothly. Okay, thank you. Well, the discussions we have in NATO, of course. One thing that we have to show that we are behind Ukraine as long as it takes, which means that we are also helping Ukraine militarily. That is also a sort of security guarantee. But actually, in the long term, the only security guarantee that really works is to end the grey zones in Europe, which means that the only security guarantee really is NATO. And I can tell this by my own country's history. Thank you.
Wie geht es dir? Von diesem Sommer war der Wahlrecht konkret? Konkret nicht vieles. Also das ist auch nicht der Bitte, dass konkret Konklusionen geholt gehen. Wir kommen ja meistens zu Bresel an einer kleinen Summe, wo wir überkommen an Zeile streiten. Es ist mehr für zu diskutieren, weil nicht oft Plätze sind, wo ich am Anfang einfach échanger. Dafür zum Beispiel Serben nach Kosovo durchzuholen, wo dann noch bilaterale können organisiert gehen, das ist viel wert. Also die Aktualität möchte, dass es wirklich wichtig ist, dass wir noch an den kommen. Bilaterale Nugeschwärze, was bei jedem Programm? Ich gesehen den neuen Präsident aus dem Montenegro, schön gestorben, die Präsidentin von Moldawien gesehen, schon ein Gritsch von Leuten schon gesehen, und das mehr am Anfang zusammenkommen. Das bilateral hört den Alltag, das erste die spontane Chance, die noch hört, mir noch Arbeitsgruppen, wo ich beim britischen Premierminister, beim polnischen Premierminister über Sicherheit auch an Europa eine Chance schon. Und ich hoffe, dass du nicht in irgendein Gerät aufradert, die in seinem Büro geschrieben hat, mir eine Chance schon. Das ist der Bild von so Reunionen.
Die hat auf der ersten Reunion von der Europäischen Politischen Kommunität auch schon Sicherheit rausgesicht. Wie weit tut euch genau rausgesicht?
Weil der Moment wichtig ist, aber den Sicherheitsfaktor an bei uns in Lützeburg auch Familien nicht direkt durch Waffen. Man sieht sind aber die ganzen Hybrid-Attacken, die können kommen, ob das Desinformation ist, ob das Cyberattacken sind, also eine Realität. Und dafür ist es auch wichtig, dass wir da uns alliieren. Und da haben wir auch ein paar Punkte als Lützburger, die wir können den Kollegen noch vielleicht positiv erklären.
Zum Beispiel?
Und wissen wir, dass wir das ein bisschen zum Beispiel haben, wo ein Gritsch von Ländern auch schon hier bei uns haben, der das auch ein ökonomischer Faktor, aber auch ein Defensfaktor und ein Solidaritätsfaktor.
Ökonomische Anteile sind auch schon, spielen auch schon mal.
Nö, es geht nicht darum, es geht einfach, wenn ich eine Möglichkeit habe, den Männern zu helfen, und ich autant faire d'une pierre deux coups, wenn ich etwas kann, so eine Rackre für etwas, was doch die anderen brauchen, dann komme ich nicht hier als Riesen dahin. Ich komme hier als Lützeburger Premier von einem anderen Kollegen in Chance zu haben. Wirklich, wir mussten schon dem engem von ihren Kollegen seinen Artikel gelesen, die von Plauderstunde schwätzt. Ja, das ist auch wichtig, dass wir uns da poteren, weil wir streiten ganz oft zusammen, wir poteren wenig. Und heute ist gut zu poteren. Ich habe selber als Advokat gemerkt, dass die Schädungen meistens kommen, weil ich nicht genug gepotert wird, um gerade échanger wird. Dafür ist diese Momente, wo wir zusammen diskutiert, ganz wichtig.
Apropos poteren, die waren ja auch schon zu Reykjavik Sommet vom Conseil de l'Europe. Wie ist dann, wo gibt es die Linien zwischen der einen und der anderen Reunion?
Zu Reykjavik, also das Conseil de l'Europe, da gibt es ja Regeln, da haben wir auch die Konvention Européenne des Droits de l'Homme, wir haben eine von Instanzen, die da gehen. Es ist wirklich einfach zusammenkommen, zweimal am Jahr, für einfach eine Chance zu haben. Wie gesagt, die Aktualität, also das ist perfekt. Am Kosovo Serbien, da ist im Moment ganz viel Spannung, an dass wir heute den serbischen Präsidenten und kosovarischen Präsidenten haben, und wie das der französische Präsident allein gesagt an so Sachen. Ich werde doch mit dem anderen diskutieren. Das ist wichtig, für das Sie gesehen, dass es nicht egal ist, was da geschieht. Und du ganz oft durch den Dialog kann die Probleme lösen, und das ist das, was heute am meisten fehlt.
Platz, wo das Sommer ist, das ist auch nicht egal.
Nee, das ist auch ein Zeichen. Hier ist ein europäisches Land, wo das Land selber, sogar mit Transnistrien, auch unter Grenze eine komische Situation hat. Ukraine ist nicht weit weg, oder das ist nicht weit weg von hier. Hier ist ein Land, wo wir nicht zusammen gefragieren, maybe next. Kein Sinn, wenn ihn ganz brutal schwätzt. Und dafür ist es wichtig, zu sagen, dass es auch nicht allein sind.
Apropos Moldawien, stellt sich ein bisschen am Schaufenster heute mit dem Summit, das Land hat an den letzten 2 Jahren immens viel fortgeschritten, auch den internationalen Ranking. Ja, aber auch ganz klar Richtung EU will streben, wie sieht das?
Op geregelt, wisst, dass man Kopenhagen Kriterien hunn. Ich hat gestern dem Präsident von Montenegro, dem man sieht, dass sie schon alles gemacht huet. Wir hun eng Gritsch vu Länder, wo nach Kapitel net fertig sind. Wir regeln, wann sie präzis sollen sie machbar gehen. Muss auch nicht alles am Paket schon. Die Foren muss gemacht gehen. Also die Kriterien geheim nicht über Bord. Weder für die Ukraine noch für die anderen.
Wie sieht man ja, du, der ja gestern gesehen, an einer innenpolitischen immer komplizierter als Ich fand mir auch wichtig, für Sie zu unterstützen, dafür einfach für Demokratisierung und vorwärtsliche Tendenzen einstehen.
Also ich sehe nicht den de Schwartraft wen ha Ruder ass, wie mir eng Präsidentin die europäische Ambitionen huet fir sei Land anschmengen, dass auch für kurzem ha Manifestationen waren vun der Unterstützung für Europa. Dat will net hechen das Regen einfach Bordheit Regen im Kapitel, wann de bis erfüllt sind, da können Prozeduren noch weiter goen. Mit man am von der Leyen doch Göster gesucht, dass wirklich ganz viele vorgemerk gesinn. Da muss als die Kloster Rendevous gin, fir dann eben Entscheidungen zu hole. Rege sind do, wir können die die Bordheit, wenn man enker Präsident geschaffen hun, dann zählt dat für all die anderen.
Moldawien ist nicht lang und lo ganz viele Lieder noch Videomessage gesucht. Was Lützburg konkret macht Moldawien? Gibt es konkret ein Zusammenarbeit oder konkret Projekte, die Lützburg unternehmen?
Wir schon lange mit Moldawien ein Projekt, wo wir so unterstützen, eben noch bei der Fonction publique. Das klingt so komisch, zum Beispiel für das hier eine Fonction publique, als die auch formiert wird, und noch mit den Regeln, die es gibt. Wir haben seit langem schon wie Burgermeister war, wo wir Kontakt auch hatten mit ihnen, wo wir auch geguckt haben, wie wir können auf Niveau vom Medikal Demos helfen. Wir sind ein Rutsch Projekte, die haut laufen, und mit der Bitte politisch ihnen zu helfen. Und ich meine, dass wir ein Envelope von der EU kommen, für sie aufzuheben. Mit das der Schwach von Europa, also Schwach von den Moldawen, und nicht Schwach von uns.
Die wird gestern über Alexander de Croo auf die zu kommen, denn Herr de Croo ist was den Anti-Green Deal Deklarationen gemäht, das müssen wir stoppen, geht wo durch, das wäre kompliziert, wir haben genug Probleme. Das ist nicht eher Position, oder?
Nee. Nee, und noch, wenn man zu den Flieger hören, an der Woche nach der Charles Michel am Flieger, verträgt man dann mit so einer Zeit, dass die Kasche eingehen, gucken wie flitt, und da probieren wir es zu graffieren. Das beweist, dass ich doch keine Ahnung, dass der Schüttrich, wenn man sich einen Flieger hat, sind wir zu 3. Ich finde es mir billig, und das mir umweltfreundlich. War mir Gefühl hun, dass die Umweltkrise egal ist, wie falsch zeichen. Also ich probiere wirklich dort zu insistieren, dass man nicht dürfen als Position nur AB gehen an so, dass wenn es da Krise Energie oder irgendeine Krise, weil dann kommt die nächste. Und da gibt es immer eine Excuse für bei der Klimakrise Ziele an die Hand zu drücken. Es sind Druck von verschiedenen Ländern aus der Gegend, die gerne hätten, dass man mehr Zeit los und dann mehr nicht so sehr agieren, mit das eine Responsabilität für die nächste Generation. Also ich meine, wir können nicht einfach so noch Puss lokal und Crack, weil die Mengen oder die anderen nicht passt. Den Schwert aus, wir sehen, dass wir so ambitiöse Ziele haben, dass sie schwer realisabel sind und dafür einfach alles muss machen, für, ob man so nur wie mehr Stunden kommen, wenn nicht, soll man es auf jeden Fall erreichen. Wir sollen nicht schon ein paar Jahre für drüben und wir gehen ab. Ich meine, das wäre ein schlechtes Zeichen, was man könnte gehen. Hier sollt net der Mengerei gëchte mir nach Pustunden, die ma haut verbringe fir zeré op Brise zu goen, ich gesinn noch Regionen da no ich fir gesucht hun dat Wich mat engem ze diskutieren an diskutieren mé die méchen sinn feier an.
Herr Macron an Ihrem ganzen Druck, den liberalen und europäischen
Also wir können also wir die wisst, dass Herr Macron nicht diametralement opposé sind, denn der von Herr Macron mir kann so das nachhaltig sicher an rapid an auch kein Problem am Drecksee mat nuklear, da kann darüber diskutieren. Wir schon op kein von ihnen frohen eng positive Antwort bis krit, also lange dat der Fall ist, werde als letzte bei Premier Donné so. Voilà. Okay. Ihr schönen Tage. Adi. Bis mich spät. Gut, der Sonne kriegt dabei.
Nee, leider nicht.
Nee, mich hat ich will keinen dabei. Bonjour. Bonjour. Enchanté. S'il vous plaît. Merci beaucoup.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. We are 45 countries represented here in Chisinau. It's a powerful symbol. We have a common political will to coordinate, to cooperate in the field of energy, security, infrastructure. And we'll have the occasion today to discuss all those topics and to try to build more political convergence in order to defend some very important common interests. Thank you. Please give her the chance, please. This is an important meeting that will take place today. I had the occasion to meet both leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan in Brussels a few weeks ago. We made some progress, and I hope it will be again the occasion to confirm a common political will to normalize the relationships between both countries. I'm absolutely convinced the future of Georgia with the European Union's family, but take the right decisions in order to implement the reforms that are needed. And the Georgian people, I think they know they can count on my personal support, they can count on the support of the European Union, and I hope that the months to come will be a window of opportunity to make clear choices, not to please Brussels, but clear choices in order to make sure that the future of Georgia will be based on those fundamental European values: peace, prosperity, economic and social development.
Are you afraid that the elections will have an impact on the Spanish
these conversations that NATO is preparing a path for Ukraine to join the defense alliance? How likely do you think this will happen anytime soon?
I'm very confident that it will have no effect on the Spanish presidency, and we know what's the agenda in the weeks and the months to come, and certainly for the next months, and that's why I'm absolutely certain that it will be a fruitful presidency in the interests of the European Union. And by the way, there is no doubt that the people in Spain, they want a stronger European Union.
Are you planning to arrive in Georgia?
So can you repeat?
Are you planning to visit in Georgia?
I would be pleased. I would be more than happy to have again the occasion to pay again a visit to Georgia and to the Georgian people. And the president of Georgia had the occasion to invite me, and we will see when it will be possible to pay this visit to Georgia again. Yeah.
Next step for our integration. You will discuss in December. I mean, candidate status for Georgia in the Save Summit?
We have a very clear political agenda. I think that on the one hand, on the EU side, there is much more understanding that it is very important to take steps in the direction of the enlargement process. The European Commission will have the occasion after the summer to publish a written report on the enlargement, and I would like to repeat again that it's my intention, in my capacity, to put the topic on the agenda by the end of the year. Thank you. Merci.
And of course accountability of Russian regime for the crimes committed in the territory of Ukraine, those are important. At the moment to grant full-fledged membership to Ukraine. Everybody understands that this is extremely difficult to find a solution regarding the full-fledged membership right now, as the country is in the midst of the war. But we have to find those security guarantees and first of all the military.
Morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
This is not the idea of air defense systems and involving countries on rotational basis. But especially knowing that Belarus and Belarus for deployment even tactical nuclear weapons. This is very dangerous. We are in very dangerous situation. This is our responsibility to deal with.
mesdames. Vous allez bien? Sure. Catch me for the bilateral later on. Perfect. Messieurs, dames.
Quel est le message de ce sommet, Monsieur le Président?
Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict.
Facciamo un macro. Ce pleacă, gata.
Cine pleacă?
Unic Popescu acolo. Mai dă o tură. Deci vin la fotografia de grup.
Está preocupado por hacer
Es ist gut, dass wir jetzt als zweite Mal als europäische politische Gemeinschaft zusammenkommen, um miteinander zu sprechen über die Dinge, die uns bewegen. Und am meisten bewegt uns alle natürlich der russische Angriffskrieg auf die Ukraine, der die europäische Friedens- und Sicherheitsarchitektur infrage stellt und natürlich jeden Tag eine furchtbare Bedrohung für die Ukraine und die Menschen, die dort leben, darstellt. Insofern ist es wichtig, dass alle Staaten, die keine revisionistischen Pläne in dieser Art und Weise hegen, zusammenkommen, hier miteinander sprechen, weit über die Mitgliedschaft der Europäischen Union hinaus. Und das ist auch Bekenntnis zu einer europäischen Friedens- und Sicherheitsordnung, die die Unverletzlichkeit der Grenzen anerkennt. Wir haben viele Dinge miteinander zu besprechen, in einem guten Rahmen, der sicherstellt, dass hier alles zur Sprache kommen kann. Und das wird auch für die weitere Zusammenarbeit in Europa ganz wichtig sein. Neben den traditionellen Strukturen, die wir haben mit dem Europarat, mit der OSZE, mit unserer Zusammenarbeit in der Europäischen Union und den Partnern der Europäischen Union, ist die europäische politische Gemeinschaft ein Beitrag für eine gute gemeinsame Entwicklung unseres Europas.
Können Sie sicherstellen, dass nicht noch weitere Länder auf den Fokus Russlands geraten?
Es ist ganz wichtig, dass wir die Ukraine unterstützen. Das machen wir im großen Umfang und Europa ist dort einig in seiner Unterstützung der Ukraine bei der Verteidigung des eigenen Landes. Deutschland leistet dabei einen ganz herausragenden Beitrag. Unsere finanzielle und humanitäre und auch Hilfe und auch die Unterstützung, die wir mit Waffen liefern, sind sehr essentiell und nach den USA der größte Beitrag, der geleistet wird von einem einzelnen Land. Gerade das, was wir zur Verfügung gestellt haben zur Luftverteidigung, ist ganz wichtig jetzt in diesem Moment, wo es so viele Angriffe mit Raketen, mit Flugzeugen, mit Marschflugkörpern seitens der Russischen Föderation gibt. Und das ist das, was unser Beitrag ist, das zu verhindern, dass die Ukraine nicht Widerstand leisten kann.
Präsident Zelensky hat gesagt, er wird dafür werben, dass es Sicherheitsgarantien für die Ukraine gibt. Wie können die aussehen, wenn die Ukraine kein Mitglied in der NATO ist?
Eins ist ganz klar, wir leisten jetzt unseren Beitrag zur Unterstützung der Ukraine und wir haben immer gesagt, dass es auch für eine Friedensordnung nach dem Krieg Garantien geben muss und da wird Deutschland einen Beitrag leisten. Wie die ganz konkret aussehen, das wird etwas sein, das wir zu besprechen haben und darüber reden wir ja auch schon sehr lange miteinander. Ich glaube, es ist wichtig, dass wir hier alle zusammenkommen und ich freue mich, meine Kolleginnen und Kollegen hier zu treffen, ganz besonders natürlich auch Pedro Sanchez. Thank you. Wiedersehen.
How important is it to have so many leaders gathering here?
Vertice tra l'altro è presente anche il presidente Zelensky, c'è una guerra combattuta a pochi chilometri da qui.
Sì, guardi, io credo che questo vertice sia un vertice molto importante per ribadire alcune cose fondamentali. Che l'Europa è soprattutto una civiltà, che quella civiltà è fondata su valori come la libertà e l'uguaglianza tra gli uomini, che non c'è un'Europa di serie A e un'Europa di serie B, ma è un'Europa che, come diceva Giovanni Paolo II, ha bisogno di respirare con due polmoni, uno è quello occidentale e uno è quello orientale. E chiaramente tutto questo assume un significato nel momento in cui ci troviamo qui, nell'attuale contesto, no? Ci troviamo con il presidente Zelensky e quindi con l'Ucraina in un momento nel quale l'Ucraina difende quel valore di libertà. Lo facciamo qui in Moldova, che è un'altra nazione minacciata e che, diciamo, sarebbe a sua volta coinvolta in una sorta di domino se gli ucraini non... sarebbe già stata coinvolta se gli ucraini non si fossero difesi come stanno facendo, e lo facciamo anche in un momento nel quale, bene o male, quelle crisi hanno messo a nudo le criticità, anche europee, in tema di catene di approvvigionamento, in tema di approvvigionamento energetico, in tema di interconnettività. Io credo che il grande messaggio oggi sia soprattutto un messaggio di apertura vera a quelle nazioni che europee sono e europee vogliono essere a 360 gradi. Ucraina, Moldova, Georgia, Balcani occidentali, tutte sfide di, non direi di ingresso nell'Unione Europea, io direi di ricongiungimento, che l'Italia sostiene, e quindi penso che insomma sia molto di più di un valore simbolico quello della riunione di oggi.
Il sostegno a Kiev dell'Italia fino all'inclusione nella NATO o è ancora troppo presto?
Guardi, questa è una materia, chiaramente noi, lei sa che siamo sostenitori della politica delle porte aperte, come si è detto. Questo sarà oggetto di un altro vertice, che è quello di Vilnius, che insomma ovviamente è molto particolare e molto importante anch'esso, mese di luglio, quindi abbastanza vicino. Ci stiamo lavorando, ma voi sapete che insomma l'Italia è una delle nazioni che sono in assoluta prima fila nel sostegno all'Ucraina, chiaramente insieme ai nostri alleati, chiaramente valutando insieme che cosa si debba fare sia per aiutare gli ucraini a difendersi, sia per favorire un percorso che ci porti a terminare questo conflitto, che è un percorso che però non può passare sulla testa, chiedo scusa, del popolo ucraino.
Per favore, just one question in English. How important is this meeting for you here today?
Well, it is very important for, as I was saying, Europe is not an organization. Europe is a civilization, and it needs the East and the West. And that civilization was founded on values such freedom, equality. Celebrating this event here today means that we believe we have to strengthen our relations with all the European countries. And we do it here for there is an aggression against Ukraine, which mines the value of freedom. And we will defend it, and we will do that all together.
One of the topics. Just one from the UK.
Guardi, lo vedremo, è stato tutto molto veloce, voglio dire, in Spagna, però insomma ovviamente è molto interessante per noi capire che cosa accadrà. Non voglio più di tanto infilarmi, diciamo, nelle dinamiche di un'altra nazione. Lei sa che io sono presidente dei conservatori europei. Chiaramente guardo con molto interesse soprattutto a quello che faranno i conservatori europei in Spagna. Grazie ragazzi. Fermatevi.
the opening plenary.
Yeah.